How y'all doing, man? I really don't like this. I like the older futures of YouTube years ago. You see what I'm saying? I liked it from 2005. I liked it the natural built-in webcam because one thing about the natural webcam, you can write what you want in there in the video, and you can go back in if you feel you messed up something. They're editing in the video. You can still go and you can edit the stuff out, erase stuff out of your video and stuff like that in the editing. It was a natural bit. I liked it that one better than I like all this new stuff. I don't like this new stuff. But anyway, this is not the topic of the video, even though I did not put a title in. I just put new, but that's just something just so I can just a context so that I can go live. I just got finished watching a video of a man who he says most people gonna know who I'm talking about. You can literally pull up videos all over the internet and you'll see it. Uh, it's called handshake, no, hug to get an iPhone, handshake to get an iPhone. And what I mean by that, this guy is on. He does like YouTube social experiments. It's called a social experiment, uh, where all the people who shake his hand or hug him, he give them a iPhone, a free iPhone. And with that being said, I just wanted to just talk on it, even though I had no reason to. Sometimes I believe that God, there are certain people when that are born, they have a marked D in their DNA that some people just marked for to be something good or something great or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And when I look at my mother's situation, had a stroke instead, the different thing. I feel like this goes way far back than just now. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to take care of the elderly and so on and so forth. I didn't wake up with that in my mind. I just naturally went out into the world and I remember when I was about like 21 years old, there was a man who was he couldn't do nothing for himself. He could talk, but it wasn't to the point of where he couldn't walk and he couldn't talk. He can get in a wheelchair. He was able to talk just like I'm talking now. During that time, I didn't know anything about strokes and all that type of stuff. And I used to would bring this man when I was into this damn Christianity, this bullshit ass Christianity. That was way before I even gotten to this point. I'm 52 now. Uh, with me doing that, I feel like I used to go to the nursing homes a lot when I was in my 20s, like 25, 26, 27, 28. I visit the nursing home because I loved it going visiting the elderly people, you know what I'm saying? They couldn't do nothing for themselves or either, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's not, I'm just going back into the history of why I do what I do. The reason that I'm doing what I'm doing now, because I didn't wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to do, no, this was something that was I feel like this is something that is in my DNA. I really do. Because the reason I'm saying that is because I don't know. I never really looked at it like that. Years ago, I never really looked at it. Like people say, oh, that's because you get it from your people. No, I never really thought about it like that. But I do know and understand that my people on my father's side, like my daddy, I remember when my father got sick in 89. He was 43 years old. This was in 89. I was 15. My brother under me was 14. My baby brother was 13. And he had lung cancer, but we didn't know that we was gonna have that little short time period with him. The point I'm making is my uncle, which was my father's brother, took him in his house and he took care of him until the day he died, like that. And I noticed that my cousin, my father's sister, which was my father's sister, his son, her son, and his son, which is we call him Uncle Pete. Um, when his daddy, which is our cousins, got sick on my father's side, Uh, my auntie Ainor on my father's side, my father's sister, when she got sick, their son, which is my cousin, I call him Pokey, um, he took care of both his mother and his father. Now that was his father was still walking, and I think my Ainor was in a wheelchair. This was back in the early 2000s. This was before we had moved to Georgia. So when I look at the history, the history of it, and seeing them doing that, I'm realizing, okay, well, maybe this is what it's originated. I can't take credit for it because this came from my father's people. All the credit goes out to the fathers, the gods that we call that created us, the fathers. So I can't really sit up here and take credit for any of this. And because I realized that my uncle did it for his brother, which is my dad, and my cousin, which is my father's sister's son, he took care of his mother, my auntie, and his father, which was my cousin. Noah and my uncle that we call him Uncle Pete. That's what we call him, Uncle Pete, something like that. And I remember when I was like this when I was like 18, 19, and 20 years old and 21 years old. I was like, I feel like I always was this type of way. I would not feel like it. I knew I was this type of way. I always had a desire, and I always I guess had respect for the people back in that time, older. You know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like the point I'm making is, I just feel like certain people are put on this planet Earth for a specific purpose. Just like when we look at the so-called white man, Esau, and when you can read about it in matter of fact, let's go get it. Let's go get the hold on, give me a second. It's gonna take me a minute to get. I'm gonna get the Bible. Hold on, I'm getting there. Hold on, I'm coming. Before I say that, I'm gonna read it to you and show you that's in the Bible. That what I'm fixing to show you is in the Bible. Romans 9, and I think it's verses let's read Romans chapter 9 and verse 11. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth, not works. As it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. The elder was talking about Esau, the white man. Okay. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. God hated Esau before he came out the womb. That's what that means. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he said to Moses, now here it is. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that ruleth, but of God that showeth mercy. Okay, let's go down. Therefore had he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he harden. Thou wilt say then unto me, why does he yet find fault? For who had resisted his will? Now here it is. Verse 20. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that replies against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? I mean, why did you create me if I'm made for destruction? Now here's the answer. Verse 21. Had not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another vessel unto dishonor? He made one vessel for honor. He made one vessel that will love people, and he made another vessel that will hate and destroy and kill other people. And he also made the vessel for dishonor is to kill it. Listen to this. Had not the potter's power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor? That means one vessel will will be the loving people of God, the blacks, Hispanics, natives of America, and another unto dishonor. So let's read. Let's continue to keep reading. What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much suffering, long suffering, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? He made one. Remember, I said he made one vessel for honor, which is the Israelites, the black and the brown people, and another vessel to hate and oppress the children of God, which is the Israelites. So he made the white man the way that he made him. So the point I'm making is, that's going back to my original point. That's why you heard me say, I think God put certain people on this earth to be destructive to other people, and he put another people on this earth that will love and will bring peace to the earth, that will bring peace to each other, that will love each other, but we don't love each other. We have been conditioned by the vessels of destruction, because everywhere the white men go, they destroy everything that they put their hands to. They never bring peace nowhere. I'm here at the nursery. I'm not making a big deal out of it, but you will see them true colors come out of white people if you get them to that point. Don't never think they're your friend. Listen to what it says. What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, enduring with much long suffering, the vessels of wrath is fitted to destruction? He made one vessel of people. He made one nation of people to kill them, and he made one nation of people is to love and to exalt, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had aforetime prepared unto glory, even us whom he had called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. Now, people say he called one vessel is made for destruction. Now, when we talk about the Gentiles, that's going into the northern kingdom. There was let me show you when it. All right, let's break that part down. Let's go and let's break that. I hope I ain't going too fast. If I'm going too fast, put it in the comments. Let me back up, and I'm gonna make sure y'all understand this here, because that's what the Christian churches don't take time to break down. I'm fixing to break this down right now. It said, because I know a lot of people gonna come in the comments and they're gonna say the Israelite people that claim that they're the real Jew, they don't read the other Gentile, the other nation, the white men, all of them can come in and they can be saved and stuff. They don't read the context of this end. Well, guess what? I'm fixing to read the context of this. Look, listen to this end. Even us, whom he had called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. People will read that and say, oh, see that? The other nations can have salvation too. You see that? No, that's going into the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, which was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Judah, Benjamin, and the Levites. And through Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the northern kingdom came out of that. Because Judah started mixing with the other nation. Levi was mixing with other nation, and Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And when you look at Benjamin, the Benjamin is they are what they call the Jamaicans. That's why you look at Jamaicans, they look different. That's why when you look at black people, some of them look a little different. When you look at the Haitian people, which would be Levi, they looks a lot different. Some of them look like white people, but they actually Israelites. That's where you get this mixed thing at. So it said, even us whom he had called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. Let's get the context to who he was talking to. Because you have to remember, when the northern king, when Judah and Benjamin, when there was a split between the kingdoms of Jeroboam and Judah. So let's go to it. Let's go to, I'm gonna give you context. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee amongst all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And amongst these nations shall thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. See, he said, we're not going, when we are scattered, that's going into our people will scatter different parts of the world. And you have to understand there are two different types of Gentiles. The Israelites who are in a Gentile mindset, and the Israelites who are the non-Israelites. So you got the Gentiles and you have the natural Gentile. A Gentile just simply means something that's it usually, they say it refers to a non-Israelite people who are not Israelites. That's what the word Gentile refers to, somebody that's not a Jew. But in this case, Israel, when our people went off, God scattered them. That was one of the curses that he put up on Israel for not obeying the commandments of God. He put that curse up on them, and he scattered us to all four corners of the earth. And this was a prophecy that our people will be scattered. And this is what a lot of people is missing, and they getting it confused, saying, oh, see, God want to bring the Gentile. No, he's taught when it talks about Gentile, it's talking about those Israelites who was calling themselves Gentile, just like the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul was a Roman, but he was a Roman citizen. He was not a Roman by blood. It wasn't his ethnicity. He was not a Roman ethnically. He wasn't in Roman. He wasn't. They mistaken Paul for an Egyptian. That's African. They mistaken the Apostle Paul for an Egyptian. This is all documented in the Bible. And let's go to the part where they had the split between. I want to show y'all why that scripture that they say he's not calling of the Jews only, but of the Gentiles also. Now, remember what I read in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 64. It said, the Lord will scatter thee amongst all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth. That means we will be scattered to all four corners of the earth. You see what I'm saying? There was a split between the kingdom of Jeroboam and Judah. Kingdom north, south. Look at that. Kingdom north, south. Let's look at this here. The enemy amongst the half brothers continued in the time of the judges. Benjamin, one of Rachel's tribes, took up arms against the other tribes. Judges 20. Israel's first king, Saul, was of the tribe of Benjamin. When David was crowned king, David was from the tribe of Judah, one of Leah's tribes. The Benjamites rebelled. This is talking about the Israelites who was calling themselves Gentiles. Rebelled. Second Samuel chapter 2 and verse 3. After a long war, 2 Samuel 3 and 1, David succeeded in untitling all 12 tribes. The faculty of the union was exposed. However, when David's son Absalom promoted himself as the new king and drew many Israelites away from their allegiance to David, that means from God. 2 Samuel 15. Sufficiently, Absalom set up his throne in Hebron, the site of the former capital. Verses 10. A later revolt was led by a man named Sheba against David and the tribe of Judah. Okay, now let's go. In First King, there was a book. There was a king of Jeroboam was split up, and the Judah was split between the northern kingdom. Okay, First Kings. I think look like I'm seeing First Kings 12. First Kings 12. Let's go there. Okay, First Kings 12. I ain't read it in so long, so it's taking me a minute to get here. But I do remember reading in the Old Testament years ago. First Kings chapter 12. And I'm just going to start at verse 1 to get the whole context. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yokes grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous servants of thy father, and his heavy yoke, which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, They depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old man, that he stood before Solomon and his father, while he yet lived, and said, How ye advise that I may swear unto this people. And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people, then this day and will serve them and answer them, and spake good words to them, that they be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old man which they had given him, and consulted with the young man that was grown up with him, and which stood before him. Okay. Let's skip and let's go to verses 20. Let's see if this is gonna give a context. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. And there was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all of the house of Judah with the tribes of Benjamin. This is what I was talking about, with the tribe of Benjamin, and 184,000 chosen men, which were warriors. That means our people was people of war. Our people wasn't no joke, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. But the word of God came unto Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus said the Lord, ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Lord, and returned and departed according to the word of the Lord. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from hence, and built Peniel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, Now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. See that Israel, they have been rebelled. But if this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel and the other put in Dan. Okay. I want to find the part. Okay, hold on. Hang on a second. King James Version, there was a split between king of Jeroboam and Judah. First Kings 15, verse 9. (14, 15). I read some of it though, but I didn't get the full context. But I'm finna get it right now. First Kings 15, verse 9. The Bible says, And in the 12th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, reigned Asa over Judah. And 41 years reigned he in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Maacah, the daughter of Abishaman. And as he did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord, as David his father. Okay. First Kings 11:26. First Kings 14:20. First Kings 14:20. And the days when Jeroboam reigned 22 years, and he slept with his father. Okay. I remember reading this in the scriptures. Because see, look, okay, I tell you what, let's read right here. We're gonna get to it. It's just gonna take time to get to it. But hast thou done evil above all that was before thee? For thou hast gone and made thee other gods and molten images to provoke me to anger, and has cast me behind thy back. That's talking about Israel. Because it says, at that time, Abijah, the son of Jeroboam, fell sick, and Jeroboam said to his wife, Arise, I pray thee, and disguise thyself, that thou be not known to be thy wife, the wife of Jeroboam. Get thee to Shiloh. Behold, there is Ahijah the prophet, which told me that I should be king over this people. And this was all going into Israel. But the part I'm trying to find, it's taking me a minute to get to it. Okay, let's read this right here. We're going to get to it. It's going to take a little time. I was expecting to just go right to it. But I'm going to go ahead and read 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 15. Let's read that. For the Lord shall smite Israel as a reed is shaken in the water, and he shall root up Israel out of this good land, which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them. This was the same thing we read in Deuteronomy 28, verses 64, that God will scatter Israel to the four corners and scatter them beyond the river, because they have made their groves provoke the Lord to anger, and he shall give Israel up because of the sins of Jeroboam, who did sin and who made Israel to sin. Notice they kept repeating the same pattern. And this is how I haven't gotten to the scripture yet, but it's in the Bible. This is how the king of the northern kingdom, which was king of Judah, and I think it was a split between Judah and Benjamin and Levi. It was a split between those kingdoms. And so God had punished them, and that's why they went scattered. I was trying to give you the context of that. There was a split between Jeroboam and Judah, King James Version of the Bible. First Kings 14:21. First Kings 14:30. First Kings 14:30. And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam in their days. And Rehoboam slept with his. Okay. Hold on. The kingdom divided. First Kings, the kingdom of Israel divided. First Kings 11. First Kings 11:11. Let's see what we're going to get there. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rid the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rid it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rid it away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to the son for David, my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, and Hadad and the Edomites. He was of the king's seed in Edom. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was gone up to buy the slain after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel until he had cut off every male in Edom. Then Hadad fled, and he carried Edomites of his father's servants with him to go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child. So I remember reading the part, it says, and the anger, verse 9 of 1 Kings 11, verse 9, and the anger of the Lord, and the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which he had appeared unto him twice. So God, in the reason why God did this to Solomon, Solomon went worshiping, he went marrying them white women, them Moabite Chinese women, and God took and rent the kingdom from Saul. And this is what scattered our forefathers across the planet because we wanted to do this damn interracial dating in 2026. Most High said don't do that because there's an order, just like it's an order in the animal kingdom. There's an order in the human nature kingdom. The black Hispanic people is not supposed, wasn't never supposed to mix with the other nations. The problem with our people don't like to sit down. They don't like to take time to read. They don't. That's why they don't know a damn thing and they're dumb as hell. All of us was like that. Me, and I'm still trying to see knowledge, but we do not like to read. We don't pick up a book. We don't read shit. We don't. This is what keeps us dummy down. Do your own research. Yeah. They want to remain ignorant. See that the white man, they love our people. They said these will make some great some slaves because they don't do no reading. First Kings 11:31. And he said to Jeroboam, take the 10 pieces, for thus said the Lord, the God of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtaroth, the god of Easter. We're not supposed to be doing that, people. And the goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites. See that? Chemosh, the god of the Moabites. Who are the Moabites? The Chinese. You see what I'm saying? We're gonna look up that. We're gonna look that up. Chemosh. We're gonna look up Chemosh. Hold on. Let's do that. What is, according to the Bible, what is the definition of Chemosh? It wouldn't. Hold on. Let's spell it. According to the Bible, what is Chmeosh? In the Bible, Chemosh is the national god of the Moabites. He is frequently referred to as the abomination of Moab. Entry of Chemosh notes he was a major West Semitic deity. His worship involving several practices, including human or child sacrifices. See that? That's what the Moabites do, man. They involve child sacrifices. Chemosh notes was a major West Semitic deity. His worship involved severe practices, including human or child sacrifices. He was viewed by biblical writers as a false god. See that? The Moabites. Chemosh, Moabites, Canaanites, deity. This is the African god, worshiping the ancient Semitic speaking people who occupied the region known as Moab in modern day Jordan east of the Dead Sea during the Levitican bowls and iron ages. Chemosh was the supreme deity of the Canaanite state of Moab and the patron god of its population. The Moabites, who consequent was called the people of Chemosh. The name and significance of Chemosh are historically attest the Moabites language in scriptural on the mashed steel dated ca 840 BCE. Chemosh is also mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. Okay, the name Chemosh is yet uncertain origin, and it is unclear whether it was related to the name of Ebit. I don't know what that is, people. The earlier the Ugaritic divided name, okay, are an epic of the Mesopotamian god Niger, which might have meant, oh, I don't know what that is. According to the Hippopolis, which assumed that the names of the Chemosh, okay, and later two variation might have been qualified. Okay, I'm gonna have to come back and deal with those names, but the god of Chemosh is the god of the Chinese. Chemosh is mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, where he is mentioned as the god of the Ammonites as one point, although he is later referred to as the Chemosh, the god of Moab, and later called Abomination Moab. So God says don't worship the god of the Moabites, which they call the modern day Chinese people. Because we have a certain deity that we worship, you know? According to the Bible, there was a split between King Jeroboam and the king of Judah. King Jeroboam and his false worship. So my whole point in reading all of that was when it says in Romans, it says he is not the God of the Jews only, but of the Gentiles also. That was in that context, it was speaking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. That's what it was speaking of. Yep. According to the biblical account, on the success, Solomon's son Rehoboam, the united monarchy split into two separated kingdoms: the kingdom of Israel and the north, containing the cities of Shechem and Shemira, and the kingdom of Judah, and the south continued Jerusalem and the Jewish temple. They always got to put that shit in there. And this is the reason why a lot of my people are confused. Which kingdom was better, Israel or Judah? There was a split between the kingdom of Judah and Nebijah, I believe. Where is it in the scriptures where the king of Jeroboam and Judah was split? First Kings 11:29. First Kings 11 and 27, 28, 29. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah and Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clothed himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces, and said to Jeroboam, take the 10 pieces, for thus said the Lord, the God of Israel, behold, I will rent the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give the 10 tribes to thee. This is where it was all boiling down to the 10 tribes. It was a split, 10, 11, 12. It was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But he shall have one tribe for my servant's sake, David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. And this is what actually caused the split. Let's go up to here in verse 36 and read this and see what it's talking about. And unto his son I will give one tribe, that David my servant have a light away before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen to put my name thereon. There, and I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desires, and shall be king over Israel. And it says, we just gonna do some reading. And this is the best thing to do, because that's why the Bible tells you, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. This is gonna be a long video. Most people ain't gonna watch it because most people don't like learning. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I have commanded thee, and will walk in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I have built for David, I will give unto thee. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. That means he'll go through some shit. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam. And Jeroboam arose and fled unto Egypt, unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt unto the death of Solomon. And the rest of the acts of Solomon, all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. See, look, bro, y'all got to quit coming in and hearing half of the goddamn video. Take time and do your reading and your research for yourself. You cannot learn nothing if you jump in, look at a little bit of it, and then you jump off. You can't get nothing like that. You got to take time to get the information. It may be boring, but it helps your mind. The white man just done fuck y'all's mind up. That's why we don't know That's why we don't know a damn thing when we stand before and trying to talk to these people. They giving us all these damn excuses. You don't have no information in your head to debunk them lies of what they saying. You just gonna sit right there and just believe whatever the fuck they say. Read. Jeremiah 34:16. People don't take time to context that. That's why a lot of people is being misled. The white man wants you to be deceived. They don't want you to know. That way you don't have to depend upon nobody to give you the information. Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. That's what the Bible is telling you. Hold on, let me end this live here. I'm gonna do a second video.